r/ask Reddit. What do you believe to be 100% bullshit? I won't get mad if you tell me the truth, mother. I learned damn quick that there were things I needed to never mention around them at all. After all, I wasn't telling a lie if I didn't mention it, and they were gonna beat my ass when they found out. If I didn't tell them, there was a chance they might not find out about the thing. But if I told them, the odds were automatically 100%. American megachurches. I bet Jesus would not be a fan. Much like the New York Jets, they have the ability to make an entire stadium full of people stand up and shout Jesus Christ. There was one near where I lived in Knoxville, TN, that had a literally, I would imagine, goddamn drive-through prayer booth with a suggested donation. You could pick up a blessing on the way home like a ducking 5-layer burrito. Only the burrito is cheaper and more fulfilling, and quite possibly made by a guy named Jesus. Isn't that essentially selling indulgences? That is one of the main catalysts for the Protestant Revolution. Most of my excuses for staying up late. You have excuses. I just keep looking at the clock and hating myself. One more hooker in GTA V. The good old one more episode. Next thing you know it's already 5 AM and you need to be in the office at 8 FML. The video trailer ads for mobile gaming. 99% of people cannot solve level 2. If you reach the beach level you're legally a genius. Anyone can do what they want if they put their mind to it. Found this out the hard way. You are who you choose to be. Superman. Ask me anything's in quick fix to get 13 abs and minus 45% body fat in 3 microseconds. No gym needed ever again. If there was a quick fix that actually worked, then we'd all be shredded. Reality is, there is no substitute for hard work and dedication. My wife just recently lost a lot of weight and freaking everybody asks how did you do it? Then when she says diet and exercise, mostly they get this disappointed look like they thought she was going to have some crazy new secret. Like come on, we have figured out weight loss. Eat fewer calories than you burn. Just because people don't want to do it doesn't mean there's a better answer. She should start telling them that she covered herself in honey every night for 3 months. But how do you get it off? That is how you lose the weight. The customer is always right. The original quote is meant as saying as a business you can't dictate what the market or the customer wants, and so they are always right in that regard. It wasn't meant in the context of customer service, that an unruly customer being unagreeable is always right. So the market is always right? The customer's money should always be taken. So if they want something else, we should sell that. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Norm Macdonald once said something to the effect of whatever doesn't kill you makes you seriously weak, you know, because it almost killed you. What about polio? Carl Pilkington. God, I love that show. Richard told me I should be careful because there are some tiny fish that can swim up from the water through my urine and into my knob. Is that how amazing the Amazon is? The fish in there would rather really live in my knob than the river. Also Carl Pilkington. Money can't buy happiness. Personally, I'd much rather be crying in a Mercedes than on public transportation. I believe there was a study that there's a magic area of money for happiness. Like within that range is the optimal place to be. It allows you some freedom and security, but doesn't cause the excess problems etc. I'll have to Google that sometime. I think earning above 75k or something like that doesn't make you more happy. I also don't remember the exact figure. That is the point of diminishing marginal returns. From that point on each additional dollar will contribute less to your overall happiness than before $75,000 but it will still contribute positively. Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide. It's one of the first times, or maybe the first time, it ever seemed like people who don't believe the conspiracy theory are the outliers. There's pretty much only 4 possible scenarios. A previously suicidal prisoner just happened to be taken off suicide watch, then just happened to be, via a series of miscommunication and general incompetence, unsupervised during precisely the right amount of time, which just happened during the exact time frame for said prisoner to commit suicide. And this event just happened at the same time that the cameras were malfunctioning and thus wasn't able to capture what happened on video. Epstein was encouraged to kill himself. and things were arranged to make it happen. Epstein was murdered in such a way to make it seem like a suicide, and things were arranged to make it happen. Epstein faked his death and used his connections blackmails to get out of jail so he could live his life in exile. I don't know which one of those scenarios happened, but I do know which one I find to be the most implausible. That Google values privacy. They do value it. I'd say at least $1 worth. Those star things that predict your entire life by when you were born. Horoscopes and astrology. The reason it works is because of how vague they are and how they very carefully go with traits that can apply to almost anyone. Without knowing you at all, I can pretty much predict that you're worried about a relationship in your life, family, romantic, or friend, which everyone has at least one. That you are concerned about your finances, pretty much unless you're Bill Gates you worry about money, and that you're concerned with your work school, because who isn't? But at no point did I specifically mention anything in your personal life. There's also confirmation bias. Maybe you're doing fine with relationships and your finances are good, but my horoscope I gave you mentioned a work conflict and you made a mistake at work and the boss yelled at you. Well, you don't say, hey, the guy said my relationships and finances were in trouble, but they aren't. He's full of it. But you do say, whoa, he nailed how I'd have work problems. And now you think I'm awesome at horoscopes. It's how fortune tellers make their living. Look up cold reading sometime. It's pretty fascinating to see that aspect of human nature. Vaccines cause autism. Facebook. Same. I just quit Facebook. Now all you need to do is lawyer up and hit the gym. That video games cause violence and make you a murderer. I just wanna build my dirt hut with soft piano music and peace without being told it's gonna make me shoot up the school. I started playing Minecraft the day it was released for Xbox and never progressed beyond dirt huts. Video games doesn't make me a murderer, it make me a racist instead. Skyrim belonged to the North. Scientology. Xenu is coming for you. That's fine. Rax shotgun. I'll be waiting. That I died before the guy I was shooting at did, when I obviously shot him in the head before they even saw me. This is on any shooting game ever. Usually online MP. Usually means lag on either end. When server always takes the local copy of what happened for an action like a shot fired. Even though you are someplace else, the shot still registers because the server accepts the shot damage from the other person to your head from the lagged copy, at least my understanding of it in layman's terms. Flat Earth. The Earth is actually shaped slightly like a bowl. That's how all the water stays in. I for one cannot believe that people think that Earth is flat. It is clearly a donut. Horoscopes. My eyes glaze over when I hear talking about their signs. They're just excuses people use for their behavior that they don't want to address. I'm so temperamental. I'm such a Taurus. No, you're just rude. What annoys me extra about horoscopes and star signs is that they aren't even correct within their own belief system. They believe that which constellation you are born under affects your personality, but the dates they use to determine what constellation you were born under is thousands to years out of date. No one is actually born under the constellation they think they were. Love at first sight. There is lust at first sight, sexual interest at first sight maybe, but love needs time. It's because when the thing develops into love, people retcon it in hindsight as being love at first sight. I went to art school and I run a gallery, academic art, contemporary art shows consisting of found objects, masking tape, cardboard, paint splatters, arranged just so is 100% emperor's clothing, rich kid popularity contest bullshit. Most classes literally gave advice on how to bullshit. I dare anyone to distinguish any page from art forum from this artist statement generator. People seem to have forgotten that abstract expressionism was funded by the CIA. Simply to be confusing to the Russians, and everything since then has been derivative of literal bullshit, which has less substance than admitted bullshit. I have found the tech industry to be 100% more supportive of actual creativity. God, you're king for this comment. I'm in art school at the moment and sometimes the shit just breaks me. I go into the student gallery and I see a whole collection of postmodern, ironic, lazy works that will end up either in our landfill bin or some rich chump's apartment, and something in me just collapses. It's been difficult for me to get the direction I need for my practice because the professors are indoctrinated in a line of thought that criticizing technique and effort and skill put into something is wrong thought. The reason I make art in the first place is because it allows me to create a kind of world that I am in control of and thus can be free of the evil and ugliness of the real world. And what I see every day in contemporary art is a collective spit in the face of discipline and craft in the name of shallow irony and shock value. I'm very disillusioned by it all. And thank you for mentioning the postmodernist art CIA psyop thing. No one ever believes me when I tell them. That's how I passed my sculpture class in high school. My dragon wireframe sculpture isn't resting on his tail because I screwed up the balance. He's resting on his tail as an artistic statement about how even the most powerful require support. Ghosts. We have thousands of years of recorded human existence under our collective belts at this point. 0 instances of repeatable, proven instances of ghosts. Yo, smartphone users, were you at one this one? You record the most random shit, but can't snap one of a ghost over the years of aggregated opportunities? I talked to the UFO people about this one, but I know from past experience I'll just get excuse after excuse. Pretty amusing how there seem to be less UFO videos around now with every single person owning a smartphone than there were 20 years ago when you needed to be carrying a bulky camcorder. That JK. Rowling had it all planned from the beginning. There's way too much show. And remember that one thing mentioned once 5 books ago? It's also relevant. It's totally a horcrux. For me to believe that for 1 second. Depends on what you mean. Stuff like certain horcruxes seem legit. The Hallows however I certainly doubt. Since it's a totally irrelevant thing until the last book goes these are old and well-known stories everyone knew all along. Apparently it's pretty common when writing a series that they throw all sorts of little things out there. Mention an important piece of jewelry, or an overheard tale. Then later on when they need to bring things together they go back through the list and see what fits now. Often many of them are discarded and only mentioned that one time. Means you've got lots of plot pieces to use if things change direction in the future. That local housewives milfs teen slaps want to have no strings attached sex with me. Homeopathy. I have to be careful with how much information I give out as it is fairly easy to Google foo 3 or 4 bits and know who I am talking about and I don't need any more hassle from the homeopathy mafia. My other half's family have several people involved in homeopathy. One has published several books, is a well-known name and made a significant amount of money from it. I have seen people prescribed sugar tablets for everything from athlete's foot to cancer. 5 years ago Maine. Published person gets a cancerous growth. Straight into a private hospital. Surgery. Chemo. Not a sugar tablet in sight. Their partner has early onset dementia. Best care. Years worth of different combinations of drugs. Now they are back to their old selves most of the time. 2 other family members have had cancer treatment and one had IVF. Again this has been covered as an accessory in one of the books if you take the sugar tablets. Too long didn't read. A family that have made millions from homeopathy have used standard medical and surgical procedures for all of their illnesses. Mystics, mediums, psychics, and all the others out there. If magic were real, whoever had that power wouldn't try to make $50 a turn off of it. I know where the rapist has your 8-year-old daughter locked up and the ghost who told me the location said he'll not be back for a few hours. If you pay me $2,000 I'll tell you the location. Don't wait too long to think on it though. It's a 2-hour drive from here. The thing that makes psychics such obvious frauds is that if they weren't frauds they wouldn't be able to do their business. Psychics. Looking at you, John Edwards. I knew these 2 chicks that loved that dude. I never understood it. One of them chicks years later tried that bullshit on me after my father passed away. Her and I weren't talking for a few years prior but she texted me once she got word my father passed. So I talked to her later on the phone and our friendship rekindled. We were talking one day and all I hear from her side of the phone was her gasping. I asked her what happened. She was like, your father is here on my porch. I called bullshit and then she started explaining what he was doing. She knew my father and what he looked like. She knew he drank coffee and was saying did he have a cup that was blank, can't remember, but I was like no. Was his cup this color? No. So she kept trying to guess his favorite color cup. She didn't have a good look at that cup, so that's why she kept guessing. The funny thing was, my father didn't have a favorite cup, but oddly she couldn't guess the right one because she couldn't see the color. I honestly lost respect for her, but she was my longtime crush. Eventually we stopped talking because she is a total twat of a person. But yeah, duck people like that. There is someone for everyone. It's far more likely there are hundreds of thousands of someones for everyone, given the number of people the average person meets in their life, and the fact that most people who want someone eventually find someone. The likelihood of there only being one person for every person is vanishingly small. There's not enough money for healthcare for all. Yep, but there's money for a Donbas wall and to occupy Middle Eastern countries to insert phony leaders into a phony democracy so they can play ball with the oil trade. Rey being evil in the new Star Wars. Agree. They're just reusing the trope where Luke confronted his Sith self. She's too marketable as a strong female lead to make her a dark side practitioner who enjoys roasting male humanoid junk with the Force. The flat earth theory. You all can pretend to be flat earthers, but I've met a real one and holy shit, I've never heard such bullshit in my life. The fact that most people are so staunchly set in their political beliefs that it is impossible to have any meaningful discussion or make progress on matters. People need to come to the understanding that compromise is a necessity. It's like we need to go back to kindergarten to relearn this fact of life. You'll find love when you stop looking for it. That only works if I have friends with single friends. Other than me, if left to my own devices, I don't make new friends. Every time I try, I end up with new acquaintances. There's no spark. There's never a spark. I'll try to build on it, but no one else wants to bother. And then eventually, my few remaining friends find love and subconsciously reduce our friendship to an acquaintance. I'm tired. Destroying our planet so that a few can profit at the expense of all others, especially people not even born yet. I think it's bullshit that a human with a 100-year lifespan can destroy ecosystems that took hundreds of thousands of years to get where they are. Also, they and their friends can own fourth houses. I think it's bullshit that we think we can survive without nature, when we probably need nature more than nature needs us. We also aren't separate from nature, we are nature. So I think it's bullshit when we treat it any differently than we do our own heart and our own lungs. Maybe that's not what this question was asking, but that's what I think is 100% bullshit. That some politicians think global warming is a myth hoax. They just don't want to lose money over it. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.